Hello, I'm going to read Lewis and Clark for Kids by Janice Herbert to you. We begin with the preface or preface, however you would like to call it. The time is 1803, and this is a letter that John Ordway wrote to his parents. Honored parents, which I have to pause for a minute and tell you, this is how he wrote the word parents. Don't try it. Back to our story. Honored parents, wrote John Ordway, I am now on an expedition to the westward with Captain Lewis and Captain Clark, who are appointed by the President of the United States to go on an expedition through the interior parts of North America. We are to ascend the Missouri River with a boat as far as it is navigable, and then go by land to the westward ocean. I will write next winter if I have a chance. Yours, John Ordway, Sergeant. This reminds me of the quest for the Northwest Passage that everybody forever was trying to achieve. Ordway wrote to his honored parents in May 1804 from a campsite in Illinois country, north of the frontier town of St. Louis. His letter may have made his family uneasy. The expedition he described was about to set off for an indefinite period of time over an uncertain course through wild and unmapped lands. Ordway was a member of the Corps of Discovery, the expedition of Lewis and Clark. This group of handpicked men was about to venture across the unexplored west of the American continent. In 1800, the settled regions of the United States ended at the Mississippi River. In the western territories that would eventually include the states of Ohio, Indiana, and Illinois, a smattering of new settlers lived in windowless log cabins, dressed in deerskin and hunted and farmed. Farther west was a vast, unexplored wilderness populated by scattered Indian tribes. Only a handful of fur trappers had dared to travel beyond the great waters of the Mississippi River. It's kind of strange to think of Indiana, where we live, as the far west, but at the time it was. The United States was a young country, having only recently won its freedom from England. Starting as a small number of states along the eastern edge of the continent, the United States expanded south and west. Settler families broke the land and built homes in wild forests of Kentucky and Georgia. As the country grew, it pushed against lands claimed by other governments. Spain held the land now known as the state of Florida. It also held a vast area from the mouth of the Mississippi River north, including all the lands through which the Missouri River and tributaries flowed. The land was called Louisiana Territory. No one really knew how big it was. The vast region was unexplored by Europeans. In 1800, Spain relinquished the Louisiana Territory land to France. In 1803, President Thomas Jefferson bought the territory from France. The Louisiana Purchase cost a fantastic sum of $15 million. The president knew it was money well spent. He had a vision of the United States that would someday span the continent. For now, however, he didn't even know how much territory he had acquired. Where was the source of the Missouri River? How far did this new land reach? What mountains and forests did it hold? What people lived there, and how did they live? Was it possible to reach the great Pacific Ocean by traveling along the course of the Missouri River? Jefferson had a passion for science and nature that made him even more curious about the new land. He wanted to know everything about the animals and plants, the climate, and the geography of the West. Jefferson's many questions could only be answered by sending an exploratory party across the continent. It would be dangerous, grueling, and challenging passage, perhaps an impossible one. Only the most courageous, resourceful, and devoted people could even attempt such a journey. Who would it be? So, before we go any further, the territory of the Louisiana Purchase turned out to be 800,000 square miles in area, and the $15 million Jefferson spent on the Louisiana Purchase, it ended up calculating to 3 cents per acre, and it doubled the size of the United States. That, my friends, is an awesome real estate deal. And another note on Thomas Jefferson before we proceed. You should recognize his name as one of the men that helped write the Declaration of Independence. Now he is the President of the United States. He was born in Virginia in 1743. His father was a surveyor and planter. Thomas's mother was from one of Virginia's most distinguished families. Their tall, freckled-faced son grew up to become the third president of the United States. Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence and served as minister to France, and later Secretary of State under President George Washington. In addition, he was an architect, naturalist, gardener, and inventor. Jefferson designed and started building his elegant home, Monticello, when he was 26 years old. He conducted the country's first archaeological survey and found the bones of ancient Indians. Jefferson also collected a great library and created the University of Virginia. By making the Louisiana Purchase and appointing the expedition to explore North America, he changed the face of the nation. Jefferson died on July 4th, 1826, the 50th anniversary of the signing of his Declaration of Independence.